Hi everyone, I'm going to do a really quick video on the Pecha Kucha and kind of introduce the idea to you. So this PowerPoint is available to you through D2L, so you could always go back and look at the original PowerPoint if you want to go back and read the slides a little bit more. But here's the deal. So you're going to be doing a Pecha Kucha as part of your midterm, and it's going to be, you basically do it on PowerPoint, and you're going to record your voice just like I'm doing right now and then submit it. And that will be your presentation. So you're kind of off the hook. I mean, if you were in my regular class, I would have you do it in front of the class, which again, is its own challenge because, talking in front of people can be a difficult thing. But it's always really rewarding for the students because, it is challenging. When you finally finish, you feel really good about it. But there's still an element of challenge here, even though we're not actually doing it in front of people. And I'll show you the format. The format itself is very challenging. So I think that in itself is a really a good thing for us to practice. So let's get on with it. So, if anybody's familiar with Pokemon, the first time I heard Pecha Kucha, I literally thought it was a Pokemon. I have a little 7-year-old son, and he is just getting into Pokemon right now. So this kind of cracks me up a little bit. But Pecha Kucha is not a Pokemon. It's not what is this, a Pikachu? So it's not a Pikachu, but it certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? But here's the deal. It's a format of giving a talk. And 20 by 20 is what you want to keep in mind. 20 images, 20 seconds. And so here it is a little bit more. It's, again, pronounced Pecha Kucha, and it's a Japanese word for chit chat. It's one of those like automatopoeia type words, like zip and buzz. It sounds like chit chatting. Chit chat, chit chat, chit chat. Pecha Kucha, Pecha Kucha, Pecha Kucha. So that's what it means. It means chit chat. And it was actually started in Japan by architects. And the architects, I guess they give a lot of presentations. And several of them are just getting to the point where, they're watching the presentations and they're thinking, wow, you could have cut like most of that out and really gotten to the meat of your project within a few slides. And so they thought, why don't we just do that? Why don't we challenge ourselves to do basically what the format we're doing here, which is 20 images that last for 20 seconds long, and then it changes, and you just have to talk to the images. And so it ends up being like less than 7 minutes, like 6 minutes and some change, to really tell your story, to get to your point. And so it boils down your idea to only the most important points, right? You get right down to the message, and you get rid of excess words. So I think I spelled that wrong. It says access words. I totally spelled that wrong, but we're just gonna roll with it, okay? So excess is what that should have said in the slide. So that's the idea, is that it's a really condensed format, and I think for many people it's very, very challenging to do. So, Pecha Kucha, that whole concept is really caught on. And so if you actually go online and type in Pecha Kucha nights, you're going to find many of these events all over the world. It's a pretty cool thing where people get up on stage and they share the Pecha Kuchas. They have the slides running behind them and they tell their story. And, the format's the same, but your story is going to be different. And this is basically what you're going to do for class. So everybody's going to do their own Pecha Kucha, and the topic is completely up to you. I'm going to give you some resources to give you some ideas of what the topics can be. But I mean, literally, it should be something that you're passionate about. I've had people talk about the country that they're from, if they're like exchange students. I've had people talk about a specific dish that they know how to cook really, really well, and it means a lot to them and their family. I've had people talk about music or a specific instrument. I've had people talk about gaming and how that's like literally changed their lives. Really interesting, very unique things that are specifically you. And again, you don't get very much time to talk about it. So I feel like, I don't know, it just brings out the best of the thing that you're most passionate about. So, so don't research anything, don't make a big thing out of it. I want you to focus on, condensing your story and telling it really, really well. And of course, thinking about picking great images that makes sense for your, for your presentation. So, okay, the due dates are going to be in the course calendar. I'm going to go through these slides a little bit more and then share a few resources with you. Okay, so this is how you're going to be graded. It's about effort and completion, right? So just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. You are at an advantage, though, as compared to people that have to give this live and in class. That you could potentially re-record yourself if you didn't like how it went the first time. But honestly, don't go crazy with that, because you can drive yourself insane and do 50 takes of it. It's just not worth it. Like, just do your best, and maybe even just try to do it in one single shot. The very first time, just get it done. And make sure that you follow the Pecha Kucha format correctly. So the Pecha Kucha format, you'll see examples of it coming up here, but essentially you are supposed to do a PowerPoint presentation that has an auto advance of 20 images that advance every 20 seconds. They just advance on their own. So I'm going to be grading you on that you've, correctly followed that format, and that you've done your story from beginning to end. There's a coherent story from beginning to end, that it makes sense. You're able to start it off and wrap it up appropriately. Now, I'm not going to show you this video, so I want you to go back to the PowerPoint and actually click on this. This is a link to somebody's, it's just a guy giving a presentation, but he's doing it with the Pecha Kucha format, because I think it's one of those Pecha Kucha, events. And watch him, and watch to see, what kinds of things he does for the presentation. What is his energy level, and what are some things that he did, to make up. You could tell that he gets nervous at a couple spots. So what does he do to kind of go along with that? And what is his point? Can you kind of see like the format and how he's doing it? Look at his images. Your images don't have to be exactly the same as his, but I want you to think about, what kinds of images you're going to use to tell your story. All right, so here's some other resources. Again, these are all links. I'm not going to click to every single one of those, but each of them show you exactly how to make a Pecha Kucha. Well, the first one, creating a Pecha Kucha and how to make a Pecha Kucha, I think they're YouTube videos, and it walks you through like how to format your PowerPoint so that it will advance every 20 seconds. And then pechakucha.org is a website that I'd like for you to go to. Let's try it right now. If we click this, let's see. Okay, that's not working for some reason. But if we just go straight to pechakucha.org, pechakucha.org, let's take a look together. And you'll see that there are so many different Pecha Kuchas that you could take a look at. There's the presentation of the day. You can click on here. So many different presentations that you can look at. I think the presentations of the day are like some of their top presentations. But when you look at the different kinds of, subjects that people are talking about, clearing a hurdle, or the polar bear artist. I mean, that's super random. The necessity of creativity. Right, so kind of really cool stuff that you could talk about. Obviously, let's keep it, appropriate for a business class. But I mean, you pretty much have the license to kind of just talk about what you're most passionate about. So, keep it professional and respectful. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of up to you. You can watch a bunch of Pecha Kuchas and kind of get an idea for what Pecha Kuchas will look like and what they sound like. And I think this is a really, really wonderful resource. Here's another resource for images. Let me see, I can type in, I can't remember the name of it, but if I type in royalty-free images, it will pop up. And this is the name, oh, there it is. This is my favorite one. It's called Unsplash. Totally free. Let's take a look at some of the sample pictures that you could choose from. But honestly, look, you have textures and patterns, nature, I mean, anything. You could probably find something that is wonderful and beautiful. So, think about your subject, come up with it. But when you're looking for photos, This is a perfect place to look because look at the quality of the graphics. And you don't have to put pictures of yourself in there unless you really want to. You don't really have to. These can be just like interpretations of your feeling or what you want people to feel as they're listening to your presentation. So, I mean, this could be like, wandering through the desert or desolation or, just feelings of awe and grandeur. I don't know. I mean, just think about that, right? So we can use these for different interpretations of feelings. And so this is one of the resources I would highly recommend to you, not the only one out there. So if you have others, please, feel free to share. But I think this is a great place to start for looking for quality graphics for your Pecha Kucha. All right, so again, please feel free to send questions or comments on Pecha Kuchas. It should be fun. I'm really excited to listen to them, and I will see you all very soon.